Hello, my friends. Welcome to Story Voice English. I am very happy you are here today. So, find a comfortable place to sit, relax, and let today's story begin. Now imagine something for a moment. A huge crowd is gathered outside a tall building. Everyone is looking up. High above the street, a man hangs upside down. His body is trapped inside a heavy straitjacket. His hands cannot move. The ropes are tight. If he falls, he could die. The crowd becomes completely silent. Some people close their eyes. Others cannot look away. Then, little by little, one arm slips free. A moment later, the other arm follows. The straitjacket falls to the ground. The crowd explodes with cheers. People cannot believe what they have just seen. Who was this fearless man? His name was Harry Houdini, and this is his incredible story. Harry Houdini was born in 1874 in Budapest, Hungary. His real name was Erik Weisz. His family was poor, but they dreamed of a better future. When Erik was still a young boy, they moved to the United States, hoping to build a new life. Life in America was difficult. Money was always short. To help his family, Erik worked from a young age. He delivered newspapers. He polished shoes. He accepted any job he could find. These hard years taught him an important lesson. If you want something, you must work for it. Even as a child, Erik loved being active. He climbed trees. He practiced gymnastics. He became strong, fast, and flexible. Those skills would later help him perform the impossible. One day, Erik discovered a book about the famous magician Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin. He was fascinated. The world of magic, mystery, and impossible escapes captured his imagination. He decided that one day he would become a magician too. To honor his hero, he chose a new name, Harry Houdini. But becoming famous was not easy. He performed in small theaters for tiny audiences. Sometimes only a few people came. Sometimes nobody came at all. Many performers would have given up. Harry never did. Instead, he practiced every day. He studied locks. He learned how handcuffs worked. He trained his body until it became incredibly flexible. He believed success came from preparation, not luck. Around this time, he met a young performer named Bess. They soon married and became partners on stage. Together, they traveled from town to town, chasing a dream that seemed almost impossible. Then Harry noticed something. People enjoyed magic tricks, but they loved escape acts even more. The danger made every performance unforgettable. Harry realized he had found his true calling. He would become the greatest escape artist the world had ever seen. Soon, he would face locks, chains, prisons, and dangers that no ordinary person would dare to challenge. But every escape would bring him one step closer to becoming a legend. Harry was determined to become the greatest escape artist in the world. He trained harder than ever before. He learned how different locks worked. He practiced holding his breath for long periods. He made his body stronger and more flexible every day. Soon, he was ready to prove himself. Whenever Harry arrived in a new city, he visited the local police station. He asked the officers to lock him in their strongest handcuffs. The officers searched his clothes. They checked his pockets. They were certain he could not escape. Then, they locked the handcuffs tightly around his wrists. Sometimes they even locked him inside a prison cell. The officers smiled with confidence, but only a few minutes later, click. The handcuffs fell to the floor. The prison door opened. Harry walked out with a smile. The officers stood in complete shock. Newspapers quickly reported these incredible escapes. Before long, Harry Houdini became famous across America and Europe. But he was not satisfied. He wanted to perform escapes that no one had ever imagined. One of his most famous acts was the milk can escape. A large metal milk can was filled with water. Harry climbed inside. The lid was locked tightly. The audience waited in complete silence. Seconds felt like minutes. Some people feared he would never come out. Then suddenly, Harry appeared beside the can, smiling. The audience jumped to their feet with applause. Later, he created an even more dangerous performance. It was called the Chinese water torture cell. Harry was lowered upside down into a glass tank filled with water. His ankles were locked at the top. His entire body disappeared beneath the water. The curtain closed. The theater became completely silent. No one knew what was happening behind the curtain. Every second increased the tension. Then, just as people feared the worst, Harry stepped out alive. The crowd erupted with excitement. People called him the greatest escape artist in the world. But Harry always said the same thing. It is not magic. It is practice. It is preparation. Every escape looked impossible, but behind every performance were thousands of hours of hard work. As his fame grew, people traveled from far away just to watch him. His name became known around the world, but the greatest challenge of his life was still ahead. It would not be a prison. It would not be chains. And the person he loved most was his mother. She had always believed in him. Whenever he achieved something new, she was the first person he wanted to tell. Then, one day, she passed away. Harry was heartbroken. The man who could escape from chains could not escape grief. After her death, many people told Harry they could speak with the spirits of the dead. They called themselves mediums. At first, Harry wanted to believe them. But as he watched their performances, he realized many of them were using simple tricks to fool grieving families. Harry knew those tricks. He had spent his life creating illusions. The difference was that he used them to. He wanted people to know the truth. He believed that honesty was more important than fame. Even while doing this, he continued performing his incredible escape acts. Crowds still filled every theater. Then, in 1926, something unexpected happened. After a performance in Canada, a young student asked Harry if he could really withstand powerful punches to his stomach. Before Harry was ready, the student suddenly punched him several times. Harry continued performing, even though he was in pain. Days later, the pain became much worse. On October 31st, 1926, Harry Houdini died at the age of 52. The news shocked the world. Millions of people could not believe it. The man who had escaped handcuffs, the man who had escaped prison cells, the man who had escaped underwater traps, could not escape death. Yet, Harry Houdini's story did not end there. More than 100 years later, people still remember his name. Not because he had magical powers. If you enjoyed learning English through this true story, don't forget to subscribe to Story Voice English for more inspiring journeys through history. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep learning, and never stop believing in the power of determination.